touch the sky. Well, you cry out and you don't know why. Come on now, let your feet fly. Come on now, let's go for a ride. Come on now, let your feet fly. Oh, let it fly. Come on, come on.
Are we live?
Yeah, man.
We're live. We're live. So everybody,
It's alive.
it's alive. We're alive. We're at the Republic of East Vancouver Barbershop with Izzy Dakota Jones,
Ash Wednesday.
and we're with Tommy Stewart. Yes, the great Tommy Stewart. So nice to see you, Tommy. All right. Yes.
I think I might have heard that.
Trooper, Applejack, and let's not forget also Trauma too. So, like Tommy's been around in the Vancouver music scene for quite a while. He knows the ins and outs of it all, and he knows a lot of the same people.
Still learning, Joe.
And
Still
we're all,
learning.
yeah, that's the thing. I like, see, Tommy's smart. Like Tommy says to me, Joe, we're still learning. And I keep thinking, I can't learn anymore. You
I
know?
want to say you're still getting new experiences, whether you learn anything from it. That's another story.
So let's start back at the top with you at the beginning, Tommy. I mean, you're a really great, solid drummer, rock and roll drummer, right? But I know you liked jazz in the beginning, right? You were telling me that once before. So where did you start off doing the jazz thing? How did that happen?
Well, how that happened was when I began to play drums at a very young age. I think I just turned 6 years old.
Right on.
But it was actually inspired by my granny, my mom's side.
Yeah.
It was my grandmother on my dad's side, my granny on my mom's side. And she seemed to pick up the fact that I was, every time I was in her house, she played a lot of music at her house, and I was always
Right.
tuned into it. My folks played a lot of music too. It was always a lot of jazz stuff, big band music.
Yes, of course.
My mom was into Frank Sinatra,
Yeah, so was my mom.
Jack Jones,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all, you know.
Dean Martin. I just
You name it. I saw him. I'm giving my age away now.
yeah.
Let me turn this phone off before we get too much interrupted here. So one of the things that she decided, she suggested to my dad, we should maybe get him involved in some kind of music or something. It was sort of put to me. I was kind of aware because I guess I was pretty attentive to anything to do with music.
Right.
But I drifted towards that. What's that? Never knew what it was called. I know it's a saxophone. That's
Right.
what I like, the saxophone.
Well, yeah.
And I think I had a toy saxophone, or one of the neighbor kids had one, and that's where I kind of gravitated. My dad.
And where'd you grow up? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in. I was born and raised in East Vancouver.
Yeah. Yeah. See. Yeah.
And well, not raised so much because when I was about 4 years old, my folks bought a house in Burnaby, just on Boundary Road, just across the street from Vancouver.
Nice.
But I'm always proud to say, born in VGH, and first part of my life was in East Vancouver, and I'm a proud East Ender.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I was doing. That was a plan. My dad had made arrangements to. Get a saxophone teacher, and it was all set to go. And we were watching, like we usually did a lot of Sunday nights.
Ed Sullivan Show.
You named it, Ed Sullivan. And I guess I can't remember who it was. More than likely it was Buddy Rich or
Yes.
Louis Belson
I was just gonna say
or
that.
one of those
Yeah,
great
yeah.
guys. And he went about
Gene
doing his
Krupa.
solo. Gene.
Oh,
Well, I
Gene.
think Gene Krupa might have still been alive then.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably barely.
Yeah, 1936. Yeah, that would have been. Yeah. So, anyways, I saw that, and that pretty well took it. I was going, no, that's what I want to do, that, right?
Yeah, be the drummer.
So the saxophone was off the plate now, and it was drum lessons. And my dad's a policeman. Was a policeman.
Yeah. My mom and you and your dad.
Mhm.
and-
Whoa.
They all went to school together, right? They all went to East
Yeah.
Van. So
Yeah.
and my mom,
At Vancouver Tech?
and my grandpa
Mhm.
was a big time detective.
Yeah.
So that's how my mom knew your dad, and then my
Yeah.
grandpa kind of help that get
Yeah,
all going.
yeah.
And so like it's like the connection is kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, we discussed that before.
Yeah, there's family connection.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
because
yeah.
my mom used to.
How come you and I never became policemen?
I don't know.
I
don't know. My mom said I was
That's
too
a figure.
My mom said I was too short for starters. But like they owned the nightclub next door. My grandpa opened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so quick story here, when your dad was chief, my
Mm-hmm.
mom would like sometimes I guess when the jail up top. When the prisoners would chuck stuff onto the roof of the club,
Yeah.
and so my mom would have to go up there with the janitor and clean up all the garbage. She put it in a big basket one day, and I was there, and she goes, "I'm going next door." I go, "Where?" "The police station." "What for?" She said, "I got to go see Tommy. I got to go see. You got to go and see your dad. Who's your dad?"
Bob.
Bob. She goes, "I'm going to go see Bobby."
Yeah.
She goes, "Go on, Bobby." She
Bobby,
goes,
yeah.
"I'm going over to see Bobby." "Okay, what for?" "Bobby's gonna get a word from me." She walked in the door. "Hey, where's Bobby?" "Who are you?" "I live next door." I'm so. Okay, relax. And Bob comes out.
Yeah.
Your dad comes out and goes,
Oh, yeah.
"What's the matter, Louise? Like, how can I help you?" Mom goes, "Look at us." It said there, "Take care of this."
Classic East Band stuff.
Yeah. My mom told me. I just started laughing afterwards. Yeah. What stories?
So, yeah. So, anyways, when I decided it was like I had no, veering towards the sax anymore, I was drums. So
You were drums, yeah.
Dad, like you said, being a policeman, he had a lot of fireman friends too.
Oh, cool.
Because those guys kind of like
Hang out
the
together,
brother,
yeah.
right? And he approached one of the guys in the fireman's band about where he might find a drum teacher for his kid, me.
Yeah.
So one thing led to another, and he ended up sussing a guy out in South Burnaby called Jim Montezambert.
Oh, cool.
Even the name sounds percussive.
It does.
Montezambert. Right?
Yeah.
Jim Montezambert, and I got lessons with him. And my dad, was once a week. We lived in, by that time, I'd say we're around Boundary and Mosscrop in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And they're down Royal Oak, on the south side of Royal Oak, down by Marine Drive. So I could obviously get there myself. My dad, once a week for years, took me to drum lessons.
Right on.
Again, I can't thank my dad for the support that he gave me.
Yeah.
All through my career, he's been like that.
But you also were in Vegas. You told me too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That wasn't. I had.
Is that before
I've been playing drums.
Applejack or?
That was before Applejack.
That
Yeah.
was
You were right about it, John.
Oh yeah. But yeah. Well, I wasn't in Vegas at 7 or 8. I was.
No.
I could have.
You could have been playing with what's his name? Yeah, you could have been
So
playing.
I went to and he was basically, what he was a jazz teacher by trade.
Okay, cool.
If just his chops, the way he went, his career brought him to be a jazz drummer. But I loved that. He was like my second dad to me. He'd ball me out when I didn't do things right. He knew I didn't practice. He says, "Don't lie to me, you didn't practice." My dad be sitting in the chair waiting for the lesson to be over. He says, "Bob, just take him home. I'm not taking your money today. You didn't do nothing all week." And I put my head down and walked out. So yeah, he was good. I love the guy. He's not with his son, I believe, years later, ended up following his dad and becoming a drum teacher.
Wow.
But I never followed that far. It was years after I'd been involved with Jim Montezambert that he passed on. But you know where he played? A bit of trivia. Long before that club, there was a club at the corner of Sperling and Kingsway.
Okay.
And it was called, at the last, do you remember what
No.
it was? Well, at one time it was,
I can't remember the name.
it was initially called the Gay Paris.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a supper club back in the day.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
it was
okay. Like
and
a supper club, yeah.
You could rent it out for weddings.
Yeah.
But it was a supper club, and he was in the house band there, so it's kind of convenient for him because it's in Burnaby, and I think it was just 2-3 nights a week, maybe some special occasions, but he had a combo, they call back a combo at the Gay Paris Supper Club. That place went on to be several other bars. And
Later on,
it's,
yeah.
I can attest, it's a high rise now, like
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of them. But
So when you did the so right after you did you went, like you said, you went we were talking before, you went to Vegas for a bit.
I did that after with a band.
How was that? just
That was
like-
an experience, to
I
say
bet,
the least.
yeah.
I'm glad I did it, but
When would that be? 70s?
would be, I graduated, I finished grade 12, but I never actually.
There you go.
I finished grade 12.
Yeah.
I'll tell you real quick, my reason I'm the oldest of 6 kids. My dad said, I know by grade 9 I knew what I wanted to do and I couldn't wait to get out of school. But I went through it and finishing. But by grade 12 I was having thoughts of getting out of town and going. He said, do me a favor. He says, I don't care if you graduate, just finish grade 12. If you don't, I got to deal with the other 5 coming in. But Tommy never finished school, so and I getting back to my dad's support. And if it wasn't, it was grueling. But I made an agreement with my dad, and I finished grade 12. I finished it. I didn't pass it. I still don't have my grade 12. Maybe that's the problem.
Me too.
Anyways,
Go back and get your dog with this summer.
I think I learned a lot more in grade 12 could have ever taught me. But
That's for sure.
where are we getting at?
In Vegas, after Vegas.
Yeah, well,
So
after
how
Vegas,
did you-
I was in a band.
Like
By that time, I was playing professionally, meaning I was getting paid to play.
Yeah.
From the age of, I made my first dollar when I was 12 years old, actually.
Nice.
So somebody said, "You're a professional." I said, "No, I just played at the
Yeah.
little hall down the street." Well, no, when they pay you, that means you're a professional.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So I said, really? I kind of, later years, I went, well, okay, if that's the definition of
Yeah.
professional,
Yeah.
I'm a professional.
Yeah.
Well, he just got, it wasn't a lot when I was 12, 13. By the time I'm 14, 15, we're playing the schools, we're playing what they call sock hops back in those days, and the local community center in the park, Westbourne Park in Burnaby,
Sure.
Sunrise Park up here in East Van,
Yeah.
and all these places.
I got a story that I'm going to share with you in a bit. That's about a community center.
Yeah.
It has to do with that other band that you were in that I'm sure we're going to
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, when I was in these bands, when I finally got out of school, there was a 4-piece band. I can't remember who handled this. It was one of the local agents, Siegel or somebody like that.
Yeah,
It was
Seagull,
that.
or yeah.
And
Whitefoot,
he-
whoever, right?
He had gotten us some connections to go. Our drive was to do Las Vegas. We were basically a lounge act, a 4-piece lounge act with it, change of clothing, different outfits and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And all our stuff was really, really pop music.
Very
So
loungy.
it was geared to that kind of thing. So that was our destination, to get to Vegas, and we could do that. But along the way, you're playing bowling alleys. You're playing.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you play it all down there. Like, a lot of bowling alleys have lounges next to them.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We played places where literally the chicken wire fence was in the
wow.
chicken wire. Oh yeah, been there, done that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great experience, though, isn't it?
I mean, it was an experience. I don't know if that's
Well,
great,
no, but I
yeah.
mean, it's a great, like you say, a great learning experiences. You're playing those places that they're classic now. They're classic, and then
Well, that stuff doesn't exist now, right?
yeah,
Well,
well, it
I-
probably
I-
does. We just don't know
I
about
think
it.
Maybe.
I think there is. I've had friends fairly recently have told me they've witnessed bars, and
In
you're
bowling alleys
talking
and
like,
stuff.
in the very rural areas of
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Texas and Arizona's of like, right? You know?
Yeah, right.
I played a bar once, like when we were one tour, we were down there on the West Coast, and we played like the 2 nights before. We played the Hard Rock in Los Angeles. I remember I told you we were going for Hard, and we played there. And then after we did that one, we went and we played at the Whiskey. So then we would leave and go back home. And we're driving up the coast, and we played. Talk about a really dive bar, and I mean like. You walk up and you put your feet through the floor, right? You know, know, and the people. I mean, it was a surf town, but the bar was just like full of bikers and and a lot of really low life people. You know, but the band, like some of the guys in the band go, they were in shock, right? And I'm going, what are you in shock for? And they go like, look at this. Last night I'm playing the Whiskey a Go-Go, and the night before I'm opening up for her, I said, welcome to the road, right?
Yeah. That's something.
And I enjoyed that because it was a dive bar, and and they were happy to have us, and they treated us nicely, but it was rough.
There's something to say for that.
Yeah, there's something to say for that.
Yeah.
You know, the beach, it was
Yeah.
just out of Santa Cruz. It was just in Santa Cruz, just on the way out. And you know, like I said, the band was more in shock
Yeah.
than anything. Like the guys, I never thought they would be, but afterwards they're going like, you know, wow,
Yeah.
I don't know how to handle that.
But
you know?
you're like, again, getting back, you're happy for the experience.
Yeah.
And we've got stories to tell now because of it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the yin and yang of things, you know, it's like one day you're playing here and the next minute we're there. It's
Yeah.
all relevant, you know.
Yeah.
It's part of the lifestyle. It's part
Yeah.
of the comes with the territory, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you came back,
Well, I was saying when I went down there with this 4-piece band. Long story short, we did a bunch of places, this and that. A couple of the guys got a little disgruntled with the whole thing, wanted out. They left, but we had bought the PA and the van owned collectively as a group. A lot of bands did that, and it was the chip in. So how are we gonna do this? Okay, we're back. 2 of us wanted to stay down there, 2 want to go home. So they took the PA, but which they sold before they left, and they made their way home. And we wanted the transportation, so the guitar player and myself kept the van. So it was fine. I think we separated fairly amicably. It wasn't anything to do within the band. It was just they just didn't had enough of what we were going through. And,
So would be like just before the whole hippie explosion happened,
Oh, it was right.
or during?
Well, this would be
right in it probably.
This would be 1970.
Oh, yeah, it's right after.
Yeah,
Right after.
69, end of the 60s.
Yeah, end of it.
So that's when it goes full
Well, I
bore.
finished grade
That
12
goes
in-
about full bore right about then, right?
Yeah, so it'll be 69, 70 for me, because
Yeah.
that's when I
Right,
that's when I
okay.
didn't graduate.
Right.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, when you finished high school. When you were through with school.
Yeah.
When
I remember grade 3 especially, all 4 years of it.
Yeah, worst 4 years of my
4
life.
years of grade 3. Yeah. So what we down, and then what happened is that the guitar player he finally got a bit despondent of it all, and
he left.
and he decided he didn't want any more of this one, but I hadn't had my full fill yet. So they went home. I was in a band, so I had work, which gave me a place to put a roof over my head. I was fine. Never been by myself before, and I'm 19 years old.
Yeah.
A little spook. But then you grow up quick.
Right. Yeah.
But one of the bonuses when I was my drum teacher, Jim Montezember, taught me how to read. So I have reading under my belt. I could read, which is
Really
not
good.
something that nowadays in my case, you ever have to be called upon to. But I read to the point where when I was younger, before I finished school, I played in marching bands, with concert bands, where you read. I did 2 years with the Vancouver Junior Symphony.
Oh.
Yeah, and that, you gotta read to be in that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had that.
You had the skills.
I had this in my pocket.
Yeah, you had the skill set. Yeah.
Which eventually
paid
helped.
off.
So when they went home, I down there, and I got close to in Vegas, Lake Tahoe, and Reno was a circuit you would do, right? And in all 3 areas, there's the union board kind of thing. You go in just like the longshoreman board or something. You go in, and there's
Oh yeah, right.
you know,
Go to the hall or whatever.
There's just a call board there, like
Right.
holding auditions for this, interested in that, looking for that. And I look down, I grab the phone numbers, write them down, and long before cell phones.
Yeah, sure.
And I'd go back to the motel I was at, and I'd make calls, and I'd try different things, this and that, and I end up getting gigs because of being able to read, of which I can't tell you how many bands I might have been in for 2 weeks, a month, maybe 3 months or something, that kind of thing. But after about 2 years of it, I got close to home. One of the bands I was in was like a supper club band, and we came up to Seattle to do it. And I'm going, it's the closest I've been back
to home,
back to the border since I left.
Yeah.
Over 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
And I got my folks and my brothers and stuff, came down to see us play in the bar. But I've been in touch with them, and a couple of them had made their way down before, and we got together. But I always stayed in touch with my folks. But seeing them that close to the border, I ended up going back to Sacramento area after that.
Mm.
But I was in a band. I met a girl that was in the band. Her and I became an item. We were together. It was a relationship, and I told her I'm thinking of going home. And she says, I'd like to go. She says, if you're in, I got no problem with that. So, and then we had bought these 2 dogs while we were down there. These 2 Samoyed dogs. She had bought one from a store. I bought one from a breeder, but a male and a female. All of a sudden, I knock on the folks' door, and there's me, and her name is Patty. Patty, myself, and these 2 dogs. And my mom, what? We're back. We're home. I see.
Wow.
You got a girlfriend and 2 dogs, right?
Full family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We stay a while.
Yeah, right.
They let us stay a while. I came back from doing that. In my time down there, basically the bands I got to play with were Vegas lounge acts.
Yes.
The most famous being, I think, would be, well, you wouldn't know, but down there was an outfit called the Tony Rome Show.
Okay.
The Tony Rome Show. It
Yeah.
sounds Las Vegas.
Yeah, it does very Vegas. Yeah.
And it was a situation where a lot of the bands were like cookie cutter bands in the way there'd be a front man and a front woman.
Okay.
Because at the time, the biggest attraction was Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, yeah,
Sonny
yeah,
and
yeah,
Cher's
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
So that was the
was the
where
act.
That was the act you had to have.
Wow.
So there's 10 musicians in the band, which is cool because
That's
all
great,
the bands
yeah.
have horns and stuff. And,
That's really cool.
So there's the 2 front people, like I say, minimum 10 musicians, and that was fun. They played with some great players, some guys from all over the states. You know,
Yeah.
like
A lot of people come to Vegas.
the
There's a
guys
lot.
that said the same idea I did.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
But by that time I probably was down there illegally, because I was working, no
Yes.
permits.
Yeah, no permits.
But,
Yeah.
but I got away with it for the time. But most of the guys I met were American guys from
Yeah.
East Coast, other states,
Wow.
all over. Another experience. I'm really glad I had it. But then, like I say, I got homesick. I wanted to go.
So when you came home,
Yep.
how did you hook up with the other guys?
With Ray and Brian.
Ray and Brian. Yeah.
Well, I had met Ray and Brian and knew of them back in the band I was with before we went to the States.
Okay.
And I was with the Killarney Community Center marching band.
Okay.
They lived up and around that area.
Yeah. Yeah.
One guy knew another. I knew that we had met. We didn't
Yeah.
become
Knew
one
that-
bosom buddies.
Yeah. No.
But we knew
Knew of each other.
each other. When I
And
came,
they were in, is this Applejack there?
no, they had a band that goes back that far. Would be they had a band called, I don't know the chronological order of it.
Yeah, right.
I think it was called High Country at the time. There was Winter's Green.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And Winter's Green. I think it was Winter's Green, High Country, then Applejack. Anyways, they were in the bar scene and Vancouver club scene and playing. And I got home and I made good money when I was down there. So I banked a lot of dough. I was in no hurry. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
My biggest concern was finding a place to live so I could get out of my folks' house. So I started looking around, calling up some friends. Where are you playing? What are you doing? What's going on? He says, I'm looking for work, but it doesn't have to be right away. I can be a little choosy because I got some cash.
Yeah.
And I went to, I found out Ray and Brian had a band called Applejack. And they were playing down on Front Street in New Westminster.
Okay.
The Mad Dolphin, I think it was called back then. So I went down, saw them, and
Did they have those Trooper tunes then?
No, not yet.
None of them?
they probably had Raise a Hell under their belt by that time, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because I think Ray and Brian wrote that when they were 14
young.
or
Yeah,
15
yeah.
years
No
old. Yeah.
kidding.
And they probably had other songs too.
Yeah.
But they weren't doing that to my recollection. But the stuff they were doing was,
Very cool.
just.
I loved Applejack. I told you that.
I
I,
was-
really liked the band. I saw the band at the first time I saw you guys, and you were in the band. I saw the band at Vancouver College.
Yeah.
Because they used to be at Vancouver College. Used to have these big dances.
Yes, they
with,
did.
With Applejack, Heart, like all these bands that were really, really good. Seeds of
Yeah.
Time, all these acts, and we from East Van would go. all the way out
Yeah.
over to Vancouver College.
Right.
Yeah.
And go to these dances to see these bands play that were great. And of course, there were a lot of young women at these gigs too. I know girls from the West Side, right? You know,
A lot of
here's
them
the East
from
Side.
Little Flower Academy.
Yes, yes.
And ironically, my sister was
Yeah.
the only girl in our family. She went to Little Flower Academy.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, go on.
But anyways, yeah, that's why I said, and Applejack was so cool at the time. The music was so cool. Like you know, like I think when we interviewed, who did we interview was that,
Gary?
Huh?
Gary?
Not Gary. Yeah, it was Gary. Gary's one of the people we asked. But like when you guys were at that time period for Vancouver, the industry was like so cool with original, right? It was
Okay.
just really starting to get going,
Yeah.
right?
It was.
What was that like for you
It
guys?
was
'Cause
cool
I mean-
back then. It was it was really a healthy music scene. It only got healthier and healthier and better.
Yeah.
Because we all know there was a day you could play 6 nights a week in this town
Yeah.
for 5 months and not hit the same club
Yeah,
again.
Right.
yeah,
And it was night after night.
after night.
And nobody was there was just tons of bars and tons of places to play.
Play.
It was not. We never thought about it being any other way.
No,
It
I
was
know,
just-
I know,
it was
and all
just-
kinds of different venues too.
Yeah.
I remember that venue. I think I saw you guys once too, and we played at it in Showbiz Kids. We played it for New Year's one year. It was great. Was that at Tommy Chong bought it eventually? The bar on West Broadway.
Spinal Buddha?
Not
not.
on West Broadway. It used to be an old dance hall.
Yes,
your
it was
dad
a-
would have remembered that. My mom.
It was the domed hut, like a Quonset hut.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a beautiful hall, Ash, and a huge hall. And it would, and you know, back in my mom and our parents' days, it was you know, you had all the big bands play, right?
Yeah.
And so they would go and dance to the big bands. But then when Tommy and all those guys were there, and I started coming in there, it became a bar, just a dance bar.
Yeah.
But it was cool because it wasn't your average bar. It was like
Yeah.
a hall, like a big hall, and it was just converted into
It
like a
started with an
bar.
S, if I remember.
Yeah. Really cool. I saw them there once, and it was really
That was
nice.
a cool bar.
It was a very cool. And then Tommy Chong brought it, and he turned it into a more of a cabaret-ish place eventually. Yeah.
And
Oh,
Paul
comedians
Dean
and all
was, he had what was the band he was prior to Loverboy?
Streetheart.
I know, before then.
Before that, even.
Jeez, I can't. Sorry, Paul. It was-
Yeah.
But they were a kick-ass band too. They play there, if I know.
I'm trying to remember that was
Starvin' Marvin's.
Yeah, Starvin' Marvin's.
Was that it?
No,
No?
it wasn't Starvin' Marvin's. But you know who?
No, okay.
You know who owned
It's
Starvin'?
Okay.
No!
No.
No, but you know who had Starvin' Marvin's?
What could I play?
You know who because you know when you said Starvin' Marvin's, who I thought of Starvin' Marvin's was our friend that we had on here, and I hope he's doing better. He's in the hospital. Is Brian Holden.
Oh, Brian.
Brian used to own part of Starvin' Marvin's.
Oh,
He
really?
bought into that.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Brian told me, he says, I bought in that with a couple people, and we made that place, we made money out of it.
Brian, we hope you're watching. We hope you're
Yeah.
okay, man.
Yeah, Brian.
We're thinking about you, buddy.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's great. And so then you guys were playing on Applejack, like I said, that you met them and then you started playing with them.
Well, what had happened is I talked, you know, it's good to see him, I chat. And I would go back I went back 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Like I
You-
wasn't,
you were
there was
sussing
no
it
talk
out.
about a gig, it was just, I liked this band. I mean,
Mhm.
the stuff, I was a big Crosby, Stills and Nash fan.
Yeah.
They were killing that stuff, they were killing David Bowie, they were.
Yeah,
they
David
were
Bowie
killing
Ray could
Stones,
sing the shit out of
Steve
that.
Miller, all
Stones,
the classics. They were just, I mean, it's only, basically it was just a trio. It was Gary Trent, I believe, at the time, on bass, and Smitty on guitar. I can never remember the drummer's name, but that's
He
my
wasn't
name.
very good.
He wasn't. He wasn't very. His nickname was Rockstar. That's what people wanted him to call him.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry, but I don't.
That,
I know his name. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then of course Ray up front
that's
singing.
right. Well, Ray could sing.
So it was
like
basically a
bird, yeah.
trio with a singer,
Yeah.
but they were putting their signature on these songs that were, you know,
Yeah, they did them their
which
way.
are now classic songs. At the time, they were the flavor of the month songs,
Yeah,
and just killing it, right? And I was knocked out because the stuff I was doing, where I just came from, was da 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 da.
Yeah. Showtime, yeah.
Showtime, right? And this stuff had balls, you know.
Yeah.
It was the real deal. And I just went, wow, if I found a band like that, I'd jump it like.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I went down a couple times, and I remember coming home and Patty, the girl I was with, I'd say, well, these guys are just killer. I loved it. And I went and saw some other places, some other bands, and I have to say, even back when the ones I saw, they were all pretty good too. All of them
Yeah,
were good.
they were good bands
There
at that time.
There was just really good bands.
Yeah, there were lots.
But this one really.
This had a
really-
I think you guys had well, you're just talking about the covers.
Yeah.
But I think you had the way you did things. It showed originality.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I think
it was
you guys-
'cause it was only a trio, and a trio with a singer.
Yeah.
So,
it was
and a great
if you-
singer.
if you- yeah, really good singer. And I think if you guys would have great singer, I would say that.
Yeah.
Too. I'm not going to take that away. But yeah, I just think you guys had when I watched you guys, I just said there's something unique about these guys.
Mhm.
They're not just playing covers.
Yeah.
They can they have something that's going on.
Yeah.
You could tell. Like if you went and saw them back in those days, she would have went like, these guys are really cool.
Right.
Like,
Something-
something
there
cool
was something
about
there, yeah.
really cool. Like you get that vibe, right?
I couldn't begin to put my thumb on what you'd call it, but it was just something it got me going back.
Yeah, I think.
So one night when they're finished,
Yeah.
and I hung around there, they said, you stick around time? Oh, yeah, well, I said, well, we're just gonna go in the dressing room, we're gonna, close up, put things away. We'll talk to you, right? I said, okay. So I hung around, they came out, just come on in, and went to, there was a little dressing room area, went back. Said, you're looking to work, eh? He says, yeah. I says, if you guys know anybody, spread the word around,
Yeah.
nothing. He says, well, how would you like to play for us? And
Wow.
I said, what? I said, I was saying, but you got a drummer. And I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
It's
there's
behind
band,
the scenes, yeah.
band stuff. Yeah.
So I says, well, you don't have to worry about that part. Do you want to? I didn't hesitate. I said, you damn right, say you pray.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have the obligatory 2 weeks. If you got kicked out of a band, you got 2 weeks to
Yeah,
figure out.
for sure.
Or if you're going to leave, you give the guys at least 2 weeks notice.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was in place.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, good. So well, we'll get you a list of the songs and maybe some cassettes or something that we can listen to. Great. So I think that was on a Wednesday night. Well, the next day I get a frantic call. Tommy, what's up? He says, well, not much, guys. Well, how's it going? And he says, well, we need you right away. What happened? Well, the drummer didn't take the news too well when he was on, and he apparently
He said, that's it, I quit.
how we got in the bar. Well, they didn't know that night, I guess, because he got into the bar the next day somehow.
And took his stuff.
Cleaning staff was there and got his stuff out.
Oh no, you
They,
had to go.
they
and
show
get
up.
it.
They show up, and there's no drums on stage. There's nothing. They're in a panic. I didn't have anything ready to go. I had a friend. Long story short, the guy, I phoned a buddy. You got your stuff? Is it in your truck? Is it ready to go? Yeah. Okay, gotta go. I raced down there. It's baptism by fire. I started playing that night.
Wow.
Then we rehearsed.
See, that tells you something's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
it was it wasn't really good.
No, but no, you know what I mean. Like,
but-
you know,
It got really good though.
It got-
really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
it did. It got really good. Yeah.
So, and then we proceeded to practice on the Friday in the bar on the Saturday, and and within a couple of weeks,
You were there.
Yeah, I felt the music myself.
Yeah, you
wasn't
knew it.
wasn't a really hard thing. I was listening to that stuff on my own, before seeing the guys, and I was just embedded with it. So it was,
That's
we were off and running.
Yeah.
And then,
And then those Trooper songs end up being like the soundtrack to so many people's
Yeah.
lives. Santa Maria and
Yeah.
General Hand Grenade and Boys in the Bright White Sport. Come on,
Yeah.
man, right? And
Yeah.
that's just ingrained as Canadian kids.
Yeah.
That's just so deep in your head.
Yeah.
Like you guys were saying, dances and all that
Yeah.
stuff, high school dances. Anyway, here's the story because I can't not tell
I
it.
know.
So
Okay.
there's this community center, and we'd all go, and a bunch of different kids would go or whatever. And there's this one guy, this older guy. Guy's a menace. Anyway, he said, and Raise a Little Hell's big, huge
Yep.
song that
Yep.
summer or whatever. And he said, as soon as, because he knew they were gonna play it. He said,
Yeah.
as soon as they play Boys in the Bright White Sport, Raise a Little Hell, I'm just gonna start swinging. We're like,
Start swinging.
yeah, we're like, come on, man. Where everybody's in there, looking at girls and doing all the thing, and riff starts, and oh no, here it comes, bang, and it just starts whacking guys, and then it just melee. The whole place goes bananas. So thanks for that.
I'm glad I had a good seat.
This was a record, man. It wasn't a band. This is a record. Click. Here we go.
Oh, this are you? Wow.
Yeah,
Talking
man.
about a live gig, I'm going, well.
When
that's
you guys-
nuts.
Oh, it
When
was
you
crazy.
say about the soundtrack of people's lives, and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah, man.
I mean, there's several bands, anything they were listening to back then, but to be a part of that, that's one of the neatest buzzes I get when people tell us. Like when people mention it in
Well,
that.
of course you do.
In
Yeah.
that sentence about,
Yeah.
I grew up with you guys. We named our kid after one of your songs.
Yeah.
Or I proposed to my wife.
Yeah.
Listen to this tune, or we played that song at our
Yeah.
wedding, and you go, I never think of these things
No.
when you're doing it, but when somebody's telling you, it hits home. It's
Oh,
cool. It's
dude.
I bet.
As recently as last week, Bonnie and I like to go for cruise out to Squanton or wherever we go. Just cruising in my car, and we just crank the tunes, and Boys in the Bright Way Sports Car is part of that of our road trip playlist,
Yeah.
where we just fall in love deeper, and it
And you know,
means
there's-
something.
there's-
And now to hear that song, or there's a bunch of songs that just
Well, you know what's
Feel
cool?
happy
You know,
memories.
there's
Oh, my
that
God, man.
radio station that I listen to. Well, it's not new, but I've been.
to Seattle.
No, the new one in
That
the
one,
native
right.
one, the
Right,
native
right, right.
radio
Yeah,
station,
yeah.
106, and they play a lot of Canadiana music, right?
Mhm.
Of course, and they play you guys a lot, and they play deep cuts. So they'll go into cuts I haven't even heard from you guys in a really, really long time. And I'm listening, but I know right away it's you guys because I can hear Ray's voice and I can hear the guitar and the drums, and I get the feel right away, and I go, wow, I haven't heard this song for 100 years, right? And it's really cool because they look for the deep cuts,
Yeah.
and they pick out cuts that haven't been heard all the
Yeah.
time, right?
They're cool.
Like the thing about those songs too, everything off that greatest hits album for sure. Like what was that thing?
Hot Shots? Hot Shots.
Quadruple platinum. Something
It's
insane,
on its way
right?
to 7 times platinum.
Jesus, right?
Wow, wow.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That was
Right.
everybody had that record. Clearly.
Oh yeah. Did
Right.
you record that? Did you record that at?
We didn't
Little
have to
Mountain?
record anything for that album because it was
No, but
not-
I mean when you recorded those songs, were they a lot of that recorded at Little Mountain? Because I know you guys recorded the first
No.
album at Little Mountain, didn't you?
the compilation of the stuff that was on Hot Shots
Yes.
would have been from the very first album, which
Yeah.
was recorded in K. Smith Studios in
Oh.
Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And then the second one was I should know this. I think we went back to Toronto to Phase 1 studio. No, was it K. Smith? I said first, yeah.
Yes.
And Phase 1 in Toronto. I
Okay.
believe it was. There was definitely a mushroom session in that first 4 years.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
a Little Mountain too, I believe.
Yeah, you were because
Yeah.
I saw a thing on the Little Mountain thing that was been on
Yeah.
that Squire Barnes has done.
Yeah.
And
Well, we did 2 or 3.
And they
Definitely,
talked
yeah.
to I think they talked to Ray or they talked to Smitty
Mhm.
on that one.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the experience that they had. That's why I thought of you right away. I went because they talked about the big drum room that they made
yeah.
in Little Mountain where they put it in the bay.
Well, it's the bay. What's
Yes,
it was? It's a loading.
it's a loading bay.
It had a garage
They
door
get that-
on it.
yeah, yeah, they get that big
it's
sound.
a big garage, basically. You could almost park a semi-tractor
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
Kind of.
That must have been really cool to hear that sound back because it just carried it.
I never had the luxury of being back there. I saw kits that were back there set up to play. It
So
was-
you guys were in the AOB, I guess, in your AOB studio.
we all the albums were recorded in A.
Yeah,
But we had pre-production sessions
Oh, okay.
in B,
right.
and some friends who were recording in B would spend time over there when we got tired of listening to ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I heard everybody did.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of went over,
Oh, yeah.
all hung out with
Uh-huh.
everybody all the time, right? Very
And
cool.
Loverboy was doing, I guess, what pre-production can't recall, with one of the early albums.
Yeah.
We all find each other somewhere in the studio
Yeah, you and Maddie probably sitting down.
Well, Maddie and I were in that Killarney Community Center marching band together.
Oh, you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ, you
So
go
we
back
were-
a long
we
way,
went
Maddie,
back,
then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I got some years on Maddie, but he was, that's another story in itself because we had some good experiences in that.
Yeah.
I see Mike Reno hanging around the neighborhood once in a while.
Yeah, Mike comes around. He's, yeah. Mike's great. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I remember Mike in the early days, too. Another guy could sing really well. Like,
And he's
I mean,
still singing
he
really,
sings
really
well.
well.
He just does so well. Like,
and he's a genuine good guy.
he's got heart. I met him. I remember meeting Paul Dean when they stopped for a bit, and Paul Dean was doing a solo project. I was rehearsing with downtown at Jim Buckshaw's studio, and Paul was downstairs, and we were upstairs, and these two studios, and we had a song out on the radio that was on indie radio stations, and it was going gangbusters. It was like number one, right?
Cool.
So we were kind of riding that little wave, and then he came upstairs, Paul, and he's met me a couple times, and he says, "I want you to sing in my band." And I go, "Oh," I says, "I'd love the opportunity to play with you." But I said, "I got a number one, like, in indie radio across Canada.
Yeah.
I dump my band for you now.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen to me after, Paul, when you get back with Loverboy, right?"
It's probably not the right decision to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which it was the right thing to do because the band kind of tanked. The solo thing tanked for him. And so but I wanted to. But long story short, one night they were, I guess, half a Loverboy showed up to hang out with Paul after his rehearsals with his band, and then Mike Reno walks up to me and goes, "Joe, come here." And I go, "What's up?" Because we're going down to Town Pump and watch Teen Spirit play, right? And he was kind of like a Hendrix tribute guy.
Right.
And we went down there, and I half a Loverboy in my band, we were all hanging out together. And Mike was so nice. Like, Joe, I'll buy you a drink. And we sat and we talked, and singing. He was so
like
nice.
That band, and just recently we were doing the benefit for the Rock for Cancer thing
For Rocket North.
For Rocket.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years we did that.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed with him. When you talk to him, it's like when you talked to him back in the day.
Yeah.
He's just a gentleman and a
Yeah.
guy.
And Paul the same way.
Yeah. I think I remember Scrubble Cane.
Yes,
That Paul
that's
Dean?
right.
That's
That's
it,
right.
yeah.
Thank God. Thank God they came back home.
Yeah, right. You know the thing that blows my mind about these stories you got. So, obviously, I got Trooper on my mind like crazy. So you guys get on the radio and never left.
Yeah, that's so true.
You're on the radio today, right now. Guaranteed,
Yeah.
there's a Trooper song
Yeah.
playing.
Somewhere in the world. In the world.
Oh yeah, in this
In the
town.
world. Yeah,
That's
and in the world.
mind bending to me. You can
And
put
to a
on
lot of-
101.
Yeah.
Trooper's gonna come on today.
Yeah.
You know it is.
Yeah.
You guys got on the radio and never left.
You put that, when you put it to me like that, I have to say, I don't sit myself and think of these, but you say that to me, I go, God, he's got a point.
Oh, yeah, man.
And I
That's-
said, you're pretty well right, because there
And
That's-
not
was
even-
never a lull, you know? And,
There still isn't a law.
No.
It's still. You guys are in the fabric. It's kind of interesting. Like
There
you said.
you go.
Well, you know what it
Yeah.
is. It is.
that's
they
a
are-
really good word.
Well, it is because they are because I don't know nobody in my little world or big world. I don't know nobody that doesn't know you guys. I don't know your music. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I don't know nobody that doesn't. And to go all the way back to the Applejack thing when I saw you guys. I like Trooper. But I like Applejack better just because I like the creativity of it.
Yeah.
And I just saw that in Applejack. I just saw that creativity there. Like when I watch you guys or I go and see Hart at that thing. Like I knew Hart something was going to happen with them.
Right.
They were just too good. Like
We all knew that.
It's just like wow, these guys are like destined for something to happen.
There was
And
something-
it wasn't her just be able to sing Led Zeppelin tune. She could you knew
But
she had something.
You knew
special.
there was something there. Can't put your thumb
Yeah,
on
you just
that.
knew, just like you guys. It was all around that time
Yeah.
period, right? You know, and those bands, Ash in Vancouver had like Chilliwack and
Yeah.
and that Henderson had something.
He's my hero, that man.
He is,
I
yeah.
talked about him before with you,
I love Bill. I think Bill is an amazing
he's been
songwriter, amazing singer.
Yeah.
I remember him back in the early days of just when Chilliwack, right after Collectors.
Yep.
And I went and saw them at the Guards one time, him and Clara Lawrence and them.
Yeah.
It was only
Is
the
that
40s.
Collectors or
yeah,
Chilliwack?
Chilliwack, the
Chilliwack.
original with the four, I think Reno was their big hit.
Got right.
And they were just like, they were as good as like watching Led Zeppelin play.
I know.
His guitar playing,
Yeah.
his singing was so on. I was just like, this guy blows me away. He's
I
a
know,
great
I
singer,
know.
great rock singer.
I know. I was.
And you're right. You guys know, like I know we keep keeping stuff on you like for gratitude, but it's true. You guys are in that elk.
Oh,
Well, not
yes.
not too far after it, but they were definitely the pioneers, I think, in this city when it came to the Collectors.
Yes.
Like being the Collectors. And a little part back when I said it was in the Junior Symphony, the building, the footprint where, what's the club there, right on Davie, beside the gas station. And
Oh, the embassy, and it was a retro.
All the different names it
Yeah,
was.
it was a retro.
And what is it now? Or
I don't know.
Celebrities.
Celebrities, yeah. And I played there in the embassy days,
Yeah.
but it was the retro circus.
Rental Circus.
That's right. That's the classic one.
Well, somehow, I don't know how this happened, but the Vancouver Junior Symphony Board approached the Retinal Circus people, whatever, but we got some smoking deal to be able to have rehearsals for the Junior Symphony in the Retinal Circus.
Wow.
They were on Saturday mornings, and I'll never forget, because I would have been 15, maybe 15 years old or something like that. And, like, again, I don't know how these two units teamed up, but we got some smoking deal on the rent or the bill. But we go in, and the night before, you gotta know what was going on in that place.
Oh, yeah.
It's the place just reeked of weed.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
baggies here, there was some other interesting things here.
Yeah.
There's stuff you'd
Well,
find.
you had the
Go to
Doors.
walk.
The Doors played there.
Yeah.
Jefferson Airplane
Yeah.
played there when they came to town. Canned
But
Heat.
The best cleanup they could have done to prepare it for us little miniature symphony people with their little violins and clarinets and stuff. It still couldn't clean it perfectly. Some of these kids got an eye opener, I'll tell you. But the names you'd see on the bill, the door,
Yes.
where's like you say,
The Doors.
my inbuilt ring, what was that? Black Snake Blues Band.
Yeah.
The Collectors.
Yeah.
Country Joe and the Fish.
Country Joe and the
Yeah,
Fish.
All that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, the Doors too.
The Doors played there, I know. I asked a friend of mine who worked there as a bartender when the Doors played. And I says, what was it like? What was it like seeing Jim Morrison? He says, you know what? They were really nice guys, but they know they were on the right path.
Yeah.
They knew stardom was just around the corner for
Yeah.
them, right? They could sense it. He says they were nice, but you could see they had that air about them, like
Right.
something was going to break for them in a big way, right? But
There'll
yeah.
be some doors opening for them.
Yeah. Killing me.
Speaking of all that stuff, so what did that feel like, man? Like, you guys had a string of hits, like bang, 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 bang. Like, did you guys just feel like you could do no wrong? Like, you could just go and just pull them out of your back pocket and just hit songs? Like, there's a lot of hit songs.
No,
man.
I don't think you ever got to the point where you could just feel like that. That is more fear than anything. It's like,
Yeah.
anyway, it's like once you put something there, the hardest thing you got to do is to try to
Catch
get
it
it to
again.
catch it again or above that.
Yeah,
So it's
sure.
always, I mean, we're fascinated in the process ourselves. The fact that they were happening, we were just.
Winning them up. And
Who knows? You got the right timing.
Because they're not even like the same. Like the sound is there, but then like Boys in the Bright White or Raise a Little Hell or Boys in the Bright, and then Santa Maria are like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
man, or
those-
what's up,
Pretty Lady.
the Pretty Lady.
But see,
come
see-
on, that would rip your heart out.
Yeah.
But see, what happens is back then, like, you know, you didn't write like these guys did. They wrote like the Beatles and the Stones did. Because those guys, you guys looked up to those guys,
Yeah.
and they didn't. There was no rules on how the
Yeah,
song came.
right.
There was no category.
Yes.
They could write a ballad 1 minute and then write a raising rock song
Yeah.
to
And
hell
they
next,
clearly
right?
did.
And which
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
And so they knew how to do that. They knew how to twist the music and make it
That's
work.
Ray and Brian. They were
Yeah.
principal songwriters without a doubt. But they gave Frank and Donnie and I a lot of room to be able to
I bet they
put
did,
our
yeah.
parts in.
Yeah.
And if something, there's lots of
They
times
relied
we
on you
took it-
guys.
We took it a different way.
Yeah.
We took feels different ways. Something
Yeah.
was brought to us, and it was maybe more a pulled back feel on it, and we tried it. It was speed it up, or maybe shuffled it a bit or something.
Yeah.
They changed that, but they brought the songs to the table.
Yeah.
But we all
contributed.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, no, I can hear that in
Yeah,
the music.
I-
I can remember I opened up for you guys like I think 4 or 5 times, and I just remember watching you guys, and I remember like after we would open up for you, I'd watch you guys play, and I could feel here's an interesting thing. I just came to my mind, but like I watched it when you were there, and then I also watched it when somebody else was playing after you left.
Yeah.
And the difference I found was that you laid the groove in the pocket for the band. I'm serious, you really did. And I mean, you're really famous for that. And even in Trauma, you had, like, people would go and ask, they'd go and see Tommy play. I'm serious, they would. They'd go watch Tommy play. Because my cousin Brian Rass was
You said
really
this
good.
when you're not here too.
Yeah,
just so you know.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My cousin Brian Rask is a really good drummer, and he looked up to you a lot. And he would say to me, if we weren't gigging, he'd go, "Let's go see Trauma tonight," because we're also good friends with Mike Maloney, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mike did sound for me
Yeah.
in the early days of Showbiz Kids, and then he was doing songs for you guys and everything. And so Mike would call us up. Yeah, I'm down at Fram's tonight with Trauma, with Tommy and everybody. Okay, Brian, you and Joey coming down? Yeah, we're coming down.
Right.
And we come and watch you guys play. And Brian would just love. He says, I just love watching Tommy play because he's so there in the pocket. He sets the groove. He sets the standard for the tune. And you bring it, right? Yeah, there wasn't a lot of drummers in the circuit that could do that. I don't think. I think there's some good drummers, but I don't think they played like that. Like he played for the music. Let's put it this way: he played for the songs.
Yeah. Okay.
Tommy
Yeah.
played for the song. He knew what to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, no, you did.
That's a lot to take in, and it's very humbling to hear you talk like that.
No.
I go back to say when you say the feel thing and my teacher, and maybe because I learned the music. And when you read music,
I was
you
gonna say
see on the charts the pianissimos and the fortes and all the different things. You start really
Very cool.
There's dynamic music.
Yeah.
Dynamics is that secret weapon every musician
Yeah.
has that doesn't use very often.
No.
Sometimes, right?
I have
And there's
that
thing-
issue in my band
Yeah.
sometimes. We're talking about that now.
Yeah.
We're like both bands I have. One's a blues rock thing.
Yeah.
Like Black Crowes and Wingstones, and one's
Yeah.
like a heavy Led Zeppelin meets Queen of Stone Age. And the two bands, we're known as kick-ass. Like we go up and play a place and people go like,
Oh, yeah.
holy fuck. But we're here's the thing that we're missing that you have is we're talking about that now. As we're getting more successful
Yeah.
again, we're going like, Jesus, we write good songs, really good songs. We kick fucking butt.
Yeah.
But the dynamics isn't there sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like you know.
Well, if you're
and-
aware of it, they
Well,
will.
the keyboard player finally said it the other day.
They will happen.
Yeah, our keyboard
because
player
some guys just aren't aware of it to begin with.
Yeah, well, our new
and
keyboard.
you go,
our new
it's-
keyboard player said it.
It's frustrating watching it when you know this sounds really good, but it could sound even all that much better if they just took it down. Let's hear that singer in the verses. Let's hear
Yeah.
the crescendo when the bridge comes up or something, or just the difference of
Yes.
color in it, right?
Yes. How are you coloring it?
I
Yeah.
think one of the best or my favorite compliments I ever got in my life, to me, much along what we're talking here, was a guy who said to me, he said, I really like your playing, man. I like it. Really enjoy watching. Really enjoy your playing. He said, you really compliment the band. And I looked at him and I said,
Yeah, you do.
I said, that's the nicest compliment I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
I think that one stuck with me.
Yeah.
And when I knew
It's true.
what it meant, because I had achieved what I went after, and I've been a team player with the bands. I like to flower things up a bit, or this, or and listening to exactly like complimenting what I'm hearing, and that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when that guy hit that, it said that word
Yeah.
to me. It hit the nail on the head. What
It sure does.
What I set out to try to do.
Yeah.
And I went.
Yeah.
I made it.
Yeah, you made it, yeah.
This is heaven for me. That was.
Yeah, I really think that, and I think you did that for the songs in Trooper. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that's what I did.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you really
appreciate that,
did.
Joe.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
yeah, and I think so. I think so in Trauma too. You did that in Trauma because, like I said, Brian's if you heard Brian play, you'd say, yeah, he's a great drummer. And Brian's all about technique too. He come down, he'd watch you, and he says, he's one of my favorite drummers I like to watch live locally. Like he says, he's just so good.
Yeah.
And it's true because like you said, a lot of people just plow through, and we're like I said, I've been playing forever, but like I'm getting to the point now where I'm going, okay, I've got a really good band right now. The musicians are really good, and we write really good songs. We're aware of what we're doing.
Yeah.
But what are we missing? And then we get a new keyboard player, and the first thing he says is, I can't hear Joe sing as well.
Yeah.
I can't hear the other girl singer.
Yeah.
Like, can we get them down and do this in dynamic?
Yeah.
And the other day we did a gig, and I said to Mel, I says, you know what you said last rehearsal?
Yeah.
I says, it starts after this gig.
Yeah. And it's not all about turning you up more. It's about the band bringing it down
In the
And
right place.
Not only do they get to hear the vocals, the lyrics, better, is that you now have that weapon to come back up again. And
Yeah.
when you bring it up again, that's that. I mean, you're going to make a difference because the chord's changing. But
Yeah.
if that chord changes with a bit more of a swell at it or something, it's now all the better, right?
Yeah, and you guys did that in Trooper a lot live.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've worked with trios have been my thing. It was always, for the most part, out of Trooper when I was because we got Trauma going when I was still in Trooper.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
But it's always sort of, I look back, there's been very few 4 and 5 piece bands I've played with. They've been trios.
Yeah.
All musicians that play in trios all kind of, after a while, pick up little things to make it work, to compensate the fact that you don't have any more than the 3 of us play.
Yeah. And
So what is it going to be? How can we make this better?
Yeah.
Without a doubt, dynamics is in that too.
yes, and you and Donnie had that a lot.
Yeah.
You and Donnie are great rhythms. The bass player Donnie and him are great together.
I wonder if that's a Canadian thing. I'm just thinking about like Triumph and Rush. Those are the probably
that's a good point.
2 best trios or that I can think of.
Oh, they're really
They're
good. Yeah.
monsters and
Monsters,
hit after
yeah.
hit after hit after hit. You ever meet those guys?
Yes, they have. Both of them. Yeah. We actually
Rocket Rick Emmett?
we did a couple of dates with Triumph in the.
I did one
In
when
the
I
States,
toured with them
yeah.
once too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a show in Kamloops. Yeah.
Never-
It was really good.
Never did any dates with Rush. I'm pretty sure I remember that. But I've been in their company 2, 3, 4 times over events over the year, the Juno Awards.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Different trade shows, that kind of
That kind of stuff.
music-y
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're very. I saw Rush once at the Coliseum, and everybody who was anybody was in town.
Oh.
I saw Ray there.
Yeah.
Ray was there. Smitty was there. Randy Bachman was there. Burton Cummings was over in the
Yeah,
corner of
yeah.
that one area. They're all sitting around, like
Yeah.
Mike Reno. Like I was sitting there going, like, look at all these fucking guys who we all know,
Yeah.
and they were like,
Yeah.
and.
That's what you
Rush
do.
was phenomenal, like that night. Like just Getty blows my mind. Like he can
Neil
play
Peart,
bass.
Alex Lifeson, the
Oh.
whole bunch.
Up with the 3 of them.
I went and saw Metallica on the Ride the Lightning tour at the concert hall in Toronto, and Rush was in the crowd
Oh yeah.
at Metallica.
Yeah.
That was epic,
And
man.
that was they were in the crowd.
Yeah, just hanging out in the crowd,
Yeah.
watching.
Well, they're music lovers, right? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
You know. But yeah, that's so interesting. Like I said, so you guys, what we're saying, like you guys are so, like you're woven in the fabric, like I said,
ingrained.
and also you guys are kind of like that. That's like how can I say it too? It's like you guys are almost like when I tell you I've been listening to you guys on some of the other radio stations, the newer ones that are out.
Yeah.
you're attracting kids too. Young people that are
Oh, that's-
growing up right now are listening to Trooper.
Oh, how about this? So, my girlfriend Bonnie, my woman, and she's got her son. Travis is a buddy of mine too. He's a young guy. He's 17 years old. He's got a band with his homies. You know, they jam in the garage. That's cool. So they're jamming down at Pandora,
Yeah.
and it's pissing rain. And Bonnie goes with her Honda to go pick up all the kids and put all the gear in the back. And they come out. A bunch of older dudes are blah 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 talking to him, blah blah blah. And then the kids all get in the car, and Bonnie's like, "What was happening there?" She said, and they're like, "Oh, some other band, some older guys. They're just saying, hey, way to go. It's great that you guys are doing what you. They were really supportive or whatever." And Bonnie's like, "Oh, that's cool. Are they in a band?" And Travis goes, "Yeah, Trooper." And Bonnie's brain explodes because it's Trooper. And he's like, and so we're like, "All right, Travis, sit down, man. Let's listen to some Trooper." I mean, Bonnie cranks it in the house all the time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I still get a buzz. I mean,
We all crank it.
I
Everybody
get a buzz
cranks
when
it.
I got my radio on in the car and it comes up. I'll admit this, like it's still. It'll never replace that first time when you first heard it.
Sure.
Every day. That was surreal to me. I could never.
Yeah.
The
At
fact
first
I had
time
a
you
car
hear
with a
it-
radio in it, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's really interesting when you hear your tune the first time.
The first couple
And
times,
you,
yeah.
You
that's
kind
it.
of go like.
I pulled over, man, because
I remember I talked to, what's his name? I mean, I've had that experience, and then I also talked to Bud Marr. And Bud used to play with, in the beginning, played with Ryan Adams, right? And he said in the beginning, Brian's first single, he said that they were driving down Kingsway, and the song came on the radio, and Brian says, "Hey!" and he cranks it up, and they pulled over, right? And they're like this, and they go, and Bud's going like this. He goes, "Joe, it blew me away," right? I said,
It totally does.
"Yeah."
Yeah, I pulled over. I'll never forget it because all my friends were saying, "Did you hear it yet? Hear it yet?" Because we know it's over. I said, "No." Well, you listening to your radio? I said, yeah.
I think my first time I was driving home, I had my kid. I picked my kid up from the ferry boat because he was living on the island with his mom. And I came over and I turned the radio on, and the song came off like magic. You know, I'm driving home. Turned the song up, and I didn't say anything. I just smiling and listening to it, and you know, I'm getting that feeling. You know, like you said, I get excited. But I'm trying to keep cool because I got my kid in the car. He's like 4, and you know, and he goes, "Dad, that's you, isn't it?" And I go, "You know, yeah, you're right." He goes, "Wow." You know,
Wow.
I was more prouder then. I was kind of like
that's-
that for him to recognize
That's
that was me.
Yeah.
You know, I went like, "Wow," because I didn't say
That's
that.
a warm, fuzzy story. That
Yeah. It was kind of cool,
Yeah.
and I kind of
That's
went
cool.
like,
That'd be very cool.
"Wow, that was pretty interesting," right? And I just said, "Yeah." So when I said that, that's why, yeah. When you heard it, you said that too. I
Yeah.
see the look on your face.
Yeah.
It's like we're little kids again, isn't it?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's like the candy.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
Wow.
awesome that it still gives you that little spark
Yeah.
now.
So, what are your favorite shows?
Ooh.
I want to know some of the
Favorite show?
troopers that you did some big shows.
Without a doubt, I have to say, headlining at the Coliseum the first time.
Wow.
We didn't headline it first. We played open for Three Dog Night the first time we ever played
cool.
at Pacific Coliseum.
Wow.
Very
Rogers Arena wasn't around.
Yes, yes.
BC plays.
Yeah, no, I love the Coliseum days.
I still to this day.
Yeah, I do too.
But it was Three Dog Night. We backed them up.
Very
And
cool.
the next one we backed up BTO.
Okay, cool.
And then the third time in we headlined it. And
Wow.
each time was great, just because you're in this iconic building. I could see it from my house for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And it's your hometown.
Yeah.
Grew up
And
on
it's
the show,
what
so
I
I'm
didn't
sure.
think it could get any better than Three Dog opening. I think it was more they didn't realize it back then was called the Concert Bowl.
Yes.
Sort of thing, because they didn't fill Three Dog Night
Yeah, I
didn't
remember.
sell it out.
Yeah. I remember the book.
BTO sold it out.
Yes.
And
Yes, I remember that.
we did a lot of BTO dates, but because
Yeah, 'cause Randy,
was
yeah,
our producer.
yeah.
We did a lot of touring with him.
Yeah.
But when the Three Dog Night thing, you're thinking this can't get better than this. Well, then Then we played it when it was full. Well, it is better than Three Dog Night.
Yeah.
And then we played it when we headlined, and it did get better each
Oh, yeah.
time,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I don't think that anything will replace the night that you headline in your hometown, and back, you start hearing that there's scalping tickets outside for a certain amount.
Yeah, right.
People can't get in, and it's
Yeah,
like, it's
right.
just, and your family's on the wings, and your girlfriend's here, your family's here,
Wow.
all your friends, it was funny, you can't see a heck of a lot out when
Yeah,
if you
when you're on
got
the stage,
your light
yeah.
show going, it's like
Yeah.
you see about the first 20 rows, and after that it's
Yeah, it's nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's too
Yeah.
bad. Why do you put all these people in here and I can't see them?
That's why they,
I said, I worked hard for this.
that's why they
and
say,
don't
that's why they say turn on the lights.
yeah, so when the times you do turn on the lights,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
literally it's my first view of the night, and you're going to look, oh, shit.
I remember one time I saw Led Zeppelin. I seen Zeppelin 5 times, and the second time I saw them, they were huge.
Yeah.
First time I saw them in the Agrodome with Vanilla Fudge.
Yeah.
They were just starting to get big.
The Agrodome.
And
You
then,
went back a week later and you heard the same show.
well, about a couple
big
weeks
echo,
later.
Echo.
Next year, yeah, they definitely said used to echo
wow.
like crazy. Was that
No
bad?
kidding.
But
Oh,
the cowbell said it's like,
yeah.
seen too many good acts in there, and
Well,
it's too
that
bad.
was the joke, though. You could play there and come back a week and still hear it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm serious. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was really bad for that.
Yeah.
But then the next year, of course, they had Zeppelin 2 out, and the place they're huge,
Yeah.
right? So the crowd between the doors in the Coliseum there where it would open, and then
Yeah.
and the little foyer in between. Well, they opened those doors, and they shouldn't have done that, because what happened was now the crowd's pinned between
Oh.
2 doors, and people are pushing through the doors. So they got really scared,
Really?
and the ushers, the ushers were really cool. I knew all the ushers because I'm a kid who's sneaking in the concerts, and they would they go, okay, you want to get in, come on, and
Joe again.
yeah, it's me, and I'm a little guy, right? Come on in, we want to see you get hurt, get in here. So, anyways, I could see they were getting concerned, and I was in there with my cousin and another friend of mine, and so they said, okay, we're going to open the doors early, and Zeppelin was sound checking,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden people started coming in,
Yeah.
and the lights are all on, the band's on stage, like sound checking, and everybody's running down to the stage because they see them on the stage, and we start running too, right? So we start running. And they're practicing. All of a sudden, Jimmy looks and he looks at Robert and he goes, look at this. They're all coming in.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, we haven't even left the stage and, start to show you. And Robert says, well, fuck it. Let's just start now.
Yeah.
And they fucking started to show us people were
Whoa.
coming in.
That's-
And they said, we're just going to play for 3 hours and we're just going to fucking start now. And they went to go turn lights out and Robert says, no, keep the lights on. We want the lights on for the rest of the night.
That's-
Fuck. So he said to the light
Come
crew,
on, man.
light crew, he said, just forget it.
Yeah.
You guys go take a break. We're just gonna play like this.
Yeah.
And they played with the house lights on all night.
Yeah. Things have got way more calculated now, eh?
Oh,
And
yeah.
regimented. You can't do that.
You can't do this, you can't do that. Back in those days,
Oh, yeah.
you guys, it was
Yeah.
more freer, right?
Well, peace and love, man.
Yeah, it was that. It was peace and love. So in the last while, I just want to get up to this point. In the last while, you guys got recognized, right?
Yeah,
Twice
it was-
now, twice.
It's been quite a 2023, 24, been quite a
Yeah,
Little-
I mean, you were down at the Commodore, and you guys got recognized. Got on the Walk of Fame there in
This is the last one.
Vancouver.
This is last September.
Yes,
We got our star on the BC Entertainment Hall of Fame, it's called.
yes,
And it runs down some of the streets in
yes,
the theater
downtown.
district and stuff in
Yeah,
Vancouver.
yeah.
And I think the biggest kick I got out of that, I mean, it's a big honor. It's wonderful.
It was at the Commodore too,
But
wasn't it? Yeah.
It was held in front of the Commodore.
Oh, cool.
We were told to be there. Here's your itinerary. Da, da, da. We go, okay, the Commodore's got something to do with it. We met inside the Commodore, go in the back. All the press and media, that kind of stuff were in there. It was laid out how this is going to go, where we're going after this. There, they had a little social function for us after. And we figure we're going to meet at the Commodore, and we're going to either get in vehicles or somehow we're going to walk down to where our star is, and that's going to be, this is all the biggest buzz I got that day, all of us, was, where was our star? It was in front of the Commodore.
Oof.
and we're like,
Wow,
that's the big. It's
That's
like,
so cool.
that is so cool.
That's-
I mean,
Yeah.
it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
you guys got the good
And we just
spot.
went, this is nuts, right? It's one thing getting it, but it's like if you walk out of the Commodore doors, which we all know what they look like, and you
We've
walk
all fallen
ahead,
down those
it's
stairs
about from here
before.
down, about 15 feet out.
I got thrown down those stairs.
I got thrown up those stairs once.
Drew was probably the one telling it to us. Get him out of here, bring him up here. Drew Barnes. Original owner. Oh man, Drew was. Commodore was a great venue too.
It's just been,
It's a great venue.
it's
It's a historical
Yeah.
great venue. To this
I
day.
hear stories. My mom and dad used to go there when
Yeah.
it was the Commodore
Yeah.
Ballroom.
Ballroom,
It's
yeah.
a ballroom. There's been kings and queens in that place
Yeah.
because everybody knows the story of the
The
dance floor.
Yeah.
It's they put horsehair in a lot of dance floors. To this day, I think they still do on a lot of basketball courses.
That's what I heard,
Because
yeah.
it's just that cushion enough so the athletes don't wreck their knees.
Yeah, yeah.
And for ballroom dancing,
It was
you
perfect.
Perfect. But there's an actual spring system underneath the Commodore. It's quite neat. I was.
Have you ever
I-
seen that?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They were doing some repairs or something.
Yeah.
on it, and happened to be where we played there a lot. We almost got the title of Commodore House
You
Band
did.
at one
I know.
point
You
because we
you
played there
and
so much.
you and 5440
Yeah.
are the two bands.
Yeah, we played a lot of times
Both of
there.
your bands, both of
It
them.
might have something to do with why we got our start there, maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Because the people that on the board, the BC Entertainment Board, would have had to found that out or know that to
Yes,
make,
they did. They
to
did.
make the connection.
Yes.
Why our
They're
stars
probably
are-
at the shows, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's.
Probably.
They're
I
great.
think they probably were. Yeah.
Could have been.
Yeah. No, that.
Yeah,
that-
but I saw the springs, and that's like, and that's why when you're there, even as an attendee at those shows, when you're on that floor, and you see
Oh,
the
it's the
crowd gets
best.
going, that thing's just a rocket, man. It's like a wrestling ring almost.
Oh yeah, it's the best.
Oh, I know.
And from the stage, vantage point from the stage, you
It's-
look out
it's-
that whole room, and when they get in time,
It's really
and the
cool.
pulse is boop, 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 boop. Wow, that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's wild.
So it's got a lot of history, that room, for all things. And then I remember the first time playing it was just the fact I know I'm walking into this
Historic.
iconic,
landmark.
like
yeah.
spiritual building. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
This is so many. It had huge history long before all of us are
Yes.
associated.
Yes.
And it's rolling on. It's still doing it.
Still doing it. I know.
And
I
it's
went
just-
to a show about 2
Yeah.
years ago.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to remember who I went and seen.
Yeah.
But it was a Canadian act, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was just like
Yeah.
I was right back where we were.
I saw ZZ Top in the Commodore.
I did too. Did you see them with Randy back with BT Open Up? That's the first show.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
the first show.
Because was
They were
neat
brilliant.
about it is that we ended up down the road. Trooper had the good fortune of doing a lot of opening dates for ZZ Top when we
cool.
doing our
Whoa.
American tours,
Oh,
and
cool.
teamed up with there was some political associations with BTO, but Bruce Allen was
Yeah.
managing, and he knew a guy from New Orleans that knew ZZ Top. And it
Wow.
worked out for everybody.
Wow.
And for us guys, we got to, and ZZ Top by that time, it's
How about
nothing,
Randy? How about
it's
you?
nothing but,
You must have been.
well, it's
Watching
college
Billy Gibbons.
college stadiums, it's nothing less than an arena.
Yeah.
And college outdoor stadiums, they're 80,000 seat stadiums, like they're huge, these things, right?
Whoa.
So, but I never, the whole time, my association that we had playing with ZZ Top was the first time I saw him in Vancouver. In that
Little environment.
intimate, well,
It was. It was a
1,200
it was a Thursday night.
Is it 1,200 people in the Commodore?
Yeah, and it was a Thursday night.
Was it?
and
Oh.
It was a
Don't
weeknight.
ask me what I did last Thursday. I don't know if it was a Thursday.
Yeah, I know why I remember it was a Thursday night because you go downtown. There wasn't a lot going on. It was
Yeah.
busy, but
Yeah.
not real busy.
Yeah.
And
It's not
me
the
and my
weekend,
no, and me and my friend went, and we only knew the Tres Ombre album. We didn't know
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
album. We knew the Tres Ombre album, and Randy Bachman, BTO first show,
Yeah.
and they opened up with Blue Collar was their hit
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
And then ZZ Top came on. Wow, did they
When-
smoke the crowd?
And that's the best, but that was the most entertaining time, even though on these huge venues that we played with them.
Yeah.
My favorite time ever
Was
was
watching that show.
watching them in that Commodore
I know.
setting that night. You
I
got
know.
the people, we were just learning of them and getting to know ZZ
Yes,
Top.
yes.
They were playing stadiums and stuff in the southern states back
Yes.
then.
Yeah, back
to
then.
come up here would have been humbling a bit to them to play.
Our little place.
But that's not the way they look at it. They're workers. These guys, they worked. But to see them in that venue was a treat.
I mean,
because you never get to see
Billy Gibbons.
Yeah.
Billy Gibbons is like Jimi Hendrix's favorite guitar player.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy Gibbons is an amazing
Yeah.
player. Amazing.
They're amazing. They're good.
And the whole band was
going back to trios. Another amazing
Yeah,
trio.
there you go.
Oh yes,
Right?
yeah. One of the best trios I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
And
You know,
and
they are.
and again, dynamics up there. These guys got it all over the place.
yeah.
I mean, when you see them and they bring it down to you, and you're in a room with there's 40,000 people, and you just hear this nothing, and all of a sudden, bang, it's in your face.
Yeah,
And
right.
you go, whoa,
Yeah.
we should try that.
Yeah,
Crazy guitar tone.
Yeah. And then you also got on to before we go, you also did the year before you did the Canadian thing too, right?
Yeah.
You were honored. You guys were honored.
We got put on that what's called the Canada Walk of Fame,
Yes,
which is in
that's
Toronto.
right. That's right.
It's like they don't call it the Toronto. Maybe in Toronto they call it the Toronto
Yeah, but
Walk
it's the
of Fame.
Canada Walk.
But it's called the Canada Walk of Fame.
Yeah, I remember
We
watching
got
that too.
our BC Entertainment Hall of Fame, and that's special too because it's
Yes.
home. But the big one, without a doubt, as far as the accolades, was we got inducted to the Canadian Music Hall of Fame.
And what blew me away, what he
Yeah.
told me was, Tommy, last time we talked, was like you were saying that you look on the wall.
Yeah.
There's Joni Mitchell, Neil
Yeah,
Young.
right.
It's like he's up with those
Oh,
guys.
of course.
And
So
it's-
that's the chilling part about that then too.
Yeah.
It's like because people ask me, what was that like? Well, the part that grabbed me the most is this part of the ceremony is it's a magnetic thing when they actually put it on a wall. It's been deemed where you are. You rehearse it that afternoon about how you're going to do this for the press to take the pictures and all that. And we collectively go up and put this thing on the wall where we knew we were going to go. So it's not, we don't look foolish when it's live. But as it goes up, that's when you see all these names of
Rush, whatever, yeah.
of Rush and Hank Snow
Wow.
and what's his name?
Anne Murray,
Anne Murray
and all these big
and
Canadian
the band,
bands.
Neil Young,
Gordon Lightfoot.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Wow.
Oh, just all these
So iconic.
huge names.
Well, there you guys are too, right? You
Well,
guys are in that.
Oh,
you're in that.
absolutely.
You're in that.
Yeah.
You
Since
are.
since we found out you're gonna come and sit on the couch, everybody I'm talking to is freaking out. You're kidding.
Well,
no one can believe it, right?
come
I
on.
couldn't quite believe it myself,
Yeah,
but
well.
here we are. Look what we did.
Thanks.
I want to
I've
thank.
been blessed for the career I had as far as it got, as far as it didn't get. I have no regrets of any of it. I love it. It's guys like you who I've been able to be friends with over the years that I'm happy to say are still my buddies.
Yeah.
And we've been blessed to be able to do this music business. This music have a key part of our lives.
Yeah. And at the right time. You guys were at the right time.
Yeah.
At a really good right time, right?
And,
You were.
and it hasn't hurt you at all.
No.
No.
No, I mean,
No, and
you know,
you are a lover of music. We've all known that.
yeah, and I love it, and then I'm, I don't stop,
But you also promote. You don't just promote yourself, Joe. You've always been great at promoting other. I probably went and saw acts of stuff on your word, on you saying, "Oh, Tommy, I saw this guy down there," and I heard that little thing, and I went, "Well,
Oh yeah, still Tobacco Brown, right?
yeah."
Tobacco Brown's another guy, yeah. He's
Yeah.
like the young guy, Kevin, and Gary Taylor's kind of found him.
Yeah.
And Gary's good at that too.
Mhm.
And Gary found him, and we watched him play. He's like a Hendrix slash Buddy Guy,
Yeah.
I love Buddy Guy.
and he is like so bluesy, yet he can be funky.
Mhm.
And
how old is he?
he's playing. Oh, I say Kevin's maybe in his 30s,
Maybe 30, 31.
Yeah, young, and he's playing. He's had some really good players. He's had what's the name playing bass for him from the odds. You know who I mean?
I do know who
The
you
redhead guy. Anyways, he was playing with him, and his brother, who's a really good drummer, also played with him. Like he's had some musician cats that are like, you know, like
Like, do him justice.
Oh,
Yeah.
and they're playing with him because they know he's
Killer.
He's that good, Kevin. And Kevin, if you're watching, because Kevin does watch us, Kevin, you're really good, and you need to like get yourself out there a lot more
really
because
good.
like
Listen to us.
yeah, listen to us because like man, you play some local bars. You're way better than that. Like you know.
Well-
But Kevin, he's happy where he's good. He's really good. But like I says, yeah, there's people like that around, and yeah, I'll help promote those people because that's what makes it keeps it alive. You know, keeps the
Well,
music
look what
going.
music's done for us, man. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I know.
It's beautiful,
You
man.
can't beat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids, my son's a music teacher in Port Alberni. He teaches.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
High school. So he
Okay.
teaches big bands and takes them all
Awesome.
over the place. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's
It's
a
like-
conductor.
like-
And,
like
he
Frank.
and my kid did the other day. Went to UVic and he did a seminar. A talking seminar.
Oh, he's way too smart for us. Then.
Yeah, he's way too
too-
smart. I said to him, he says, I said, you get paid to talk? He goes, I got paid to talk. I said, wow, way to go. I
Yeah.
said,
You gotta admire guys that know all that stuff. Is like Frank Ledwig, the keyboard player
Yeah.
from Trooper. He ended up, teaching at schools.
Yeah.
He conducts the Vancouver Concert Band. It's called.
Yeah,
And
he
I've
must
been
know my
associated-
kid then. He might know Josh.
Probably.
Yeah.
And Frank's son himself is just, he's a flautist and he plays a couple other instruments, French horn too or something. But I've heard pieces that this guy is like composed. It's symphonic music composed, and you go, I know a guy that does that. I mean, I'm sort of like, it's like, who does this stuff?
Well, I watched
You know,
Josh.
and-
I seen
And
Josh.
how do you do that?
I know, but I seen Josh take like kids in grade 11 and 12, and they'll come over to Vancouver and they'll play say over in the dockyards or something. And he gets them to some special shows.
Yeah.
And out to university to play, and Vancouver Symphony to come out and play
Right.
for them. And the kids are like young, and they're playing and like they're doing stuff like Crazy Train, Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
They're doing like really wild stuff with big horns and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm going like, this is really good. Like these kids are good, and they're playing contemporary style music, right?
Yeah.
And you're going like, wow. Like I said to my kid after, I says, how do you get them to get to that point? He said, a lot of work, but he says, he says, they'll do it. They'll do it if you apply it to them.
Yeah.
But my kid
Give them
said,
the avenue to do it. Once
Yes.
they realize, once it catches on to them, it's like an addiction to them at that point. They get to the point,
Yes.
you don't need to push them anymore.
No.
It's like
It's
they're,
like Bonnie's kid
they're off and
Travis. He
running.
leans hard into 70s and 80s rock, man, because that's when it sounded the coolest.
yeah.
Like that's when it was the coolest.
Well, that's when music was at its height, right?
Oh.
It still is. The music is still there. It's just how it's being distributed out there now. It's
Well,
a different scene.
the
on
landscape of what's happening out there now,
Is
I
totally-
don't have
Yeah.
a clue about.
I know. I when I was talking to Al Harlow
Yeah.
last week, Al was saying to me because he watches us and then he's watching what I'm doing.
Hope you're feeling better, Al.
Yeah, and Al was
Yeah.
saying to me, he says, I'm on a different circuit, I'm the classic rock guy, now, and I do the classic rock festivals and I
Yeah.
do those kind of things. And he says, but I'm watching what you're doing. He says, you're streaming all your shows. You're getting all these people watching you.
Mhm.
And I says, well, the audiences are there. It's like now that's like when you and I were growing up, like TV. Well, we'd watch Ed Sullivan and see all the new shows, right?
Yep.
And now it's online. And like that's
Okay.
what so the TV the online streaming has replaced the TV.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put my music
In that,
in that category
Yeah.
and on that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
so when we play, like people will say, other musicians going, we're watching you guys. You guys are like you're playing live. I said, yeah, we do a set. And I'm playing right in front of like cameras like there are TVs.
Right.
Like I've done that.
They played in here, 7-piece band in the barber shop. Doors were open. It was Saturday afternoon. People were out front looking in and whatever. There's a few people in here, and the next day and I was stoked. It sounded great. It was fantastic. Joe's got all his stuff and they're streaming it all around or whatever. The next day I was like, oh man, I don't know. Maybe I didn't advertise that right or whatever. There's like 40 people showed up. I wanted it to be like much music packed out. And Joe's like, oh, I don't care. 2,500 people watched that.
On stream.
Yeah.
Streaming it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's
That's like selling out the Commodore twice in the barbershop.
That's right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
That's the way.
That's how they
that's the
look
way
at
you
it.
look at it.
That's
right.
what you have to look at it that way.
Yeah.
That's like
You reach that many people.
Well,
You
like,
can't-
like last week we played at a portside pub down in Gastown. Seats 200. We've had 75 people in the bar.
Right.
3 bands. Tells you where live music's at, right? You know, in some places.
Yeah.
We streamed the show. We just reached 2,500 now,
Wow.
and it's going up. So it'll be by the time it finishes maybe around 3,000.
Yeah.
So I can tell now with how the numbers will go. So like, and then from that we'll take a clip, the best song,
Right.
stick it on TikTok. Now, and we've been doing that for 5 years. Like put just singles on, and like releasing a single, stick a single on there. Now we're at 21,000 followers.
Good
fun-
for you guys.
yeah.
Right.
And growing, right? So and growing, and that's because we're consistent at it. We keep doing it. So like I said, the bottom line, I'm trying to explain to people is it's like you going to a TV station, and you're playing in front of the cameras, and you're playing to the people that are behind the cameras
Right.
in your TV room. And instead of a TV room, they've got it on their computer or their laptop.
Or
and
the
I
phone.
says, on the phone. And I says, it's the same thing. It's nothing. I've not changed the model. The technology has changed.
Now, that for a guy like me,
Yeah.
I
But you guys did that, Tommy. You guys did that in the days when there was radio. And,
when it was more a pound in the pavement.
Yes.
Let's say, right.
yeah. And so now you go to pound the pavement. It's harder. So like
It's not the way the guys are making their inroads now.
No.
as much. It's what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
so-
I do understand, but when we finish up here later,
Yeah.
you'll have to give me a way of letting me know how I can see more of your stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you go easy on me, let me know how I
Why,
can.
sure.
Let me know how I do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no, no,
Because there's so many, and I'm not the only one out there.
No, but it's like just one quick one here. It's like we played the Roxy one night, and we might have maybe about 50, 75 people in the room on a weeknight.
Yeah.
The band next door playing the Vogue came from the States. I forget the name of the band, sorry, but they're a well-known band, and they had maybe the Vogue seats maybe 1,000, 1,500 or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, they did like 80 shows in like in 3-4 months. They're like pounding hard, right?
Right.
Give them credit for that. And they're playing venues maybe 2,000 seaters, 1,500.
And they filled it?
They're filling it.
Yeah. Oh.
But we're next door. We're streaming,
Yeah.
and we walked out there with 5,000 people by midnight online. And so like I said to the guys in my band, I said, they came all the way from the States to play a 1,500 seater. We went down the street and parked our car and played the bar next door. And
For 5,000.
for 5,000
Yeah.
plus the 100 or whatever in the bar.
Right.
And I says, I think we did better. And my manager said, you did better.
Yeah.
You didn't have
I
to.
see right there.
You
Yeah.
didn't have. You just beat that venue out
Yeah.
technically.
Well, you did.
And the bar the bar like the Roxy's happy because they go, we love you guys. You know how much when you play our place, and if you don't even pack the place, but we see how well it's doing online. You're giving us free advertising
Yes.
because they'll
It's a
see it's the
win-win for
Roxy.
everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you must have your following around here. There's people coming out
Yes.
that wouldn't be there that night maybe. They might be in that bar again down the road because
That
the only
happens.
reason they got to that bar was following their friend Joe.
Yes.
Right? And
Yeah,
so
that's
it's-
happens
so-
when you come like we'll
so-
play the
so-
Princeton. Say we'll play the Princeton.
Yeah, that's so good for the bar, but
And then all of a sudden, we'll have people come up after and say, "We've come to see you tonight because we've been watching online."
yeah.
So it's creating that
Yeah.
synergy, right? You
Yes,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
People, I've had people come up to me just from the couch.
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah.
I don't know. No.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I know you.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about this
Well, you
thing.
got a face
The thing is with this, which is really good, we get a lot of musicians watching this.
Yeah.
A lot of musicians, and I've had people come up to me lately and say to me, "Don't stop doing this. We're watching this. You've got musicians and serious people on here that we love it."
Well, when you sent me, that showed me what you're doing, to
Yeah.
send me a little sample of it. I was looking forward to doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Even more so.
Yeah.
I was going to do it with my friend. I'd do it regardless. But I saw what I saw. I liked, and I'm going, this is cool.
Yeah.
You haven't been doing it long.
No.
And it's already
Taking off.
I subscribe.
Yeah.
So what you sent me,
Nice.
I'm a follower.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm like what this is.
Yeah, but
There's no
it's
script.
like
We
it-
didn't use a script.
We did it live.
This is live.
Tell me, it's like Gary Taylor. We were with Gary. Gary goes, "When am I coming back? I've got more stories."
Well,
I said, "Gary, no problem."
Yeah.
I have to say, write me down for number 2 now.
Yeah. Well, I'll bring you in. We'll sit down.
We got.
Oh my God.
We got lots more stories.
That would be
Oh,
awesome.
that'd be so much fun. We want to thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
And it's a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks,
Tommy
man.
Stewart, let's hear it from. Peace out, everybody.
See you, everybody. Thank you.